I live in a different kind of world, in a different kind of set of viewpoints. It is a very harsh reality, and it hasn't been, um, how can I say, if I had a choice, I wouldn't have chose to be the type of person that had to set the example. But it is my purpose on earth, and it is why I was born, so that other people can look at my life and understand that the typical societal point of view of what life is and how life should be. Every individual didn't have or wasn't privy to those circumstances. And so, looking at who I am and everything that I had to go through, and all of the obstacles that I had to step over just to be here and to be able to share my experiences with people so that hopefully they can see that there is another type of life that can be lived. It isn't a choice that you can make as a person, it just is. And when you go through hardships or you look at life in a certain view and life doesn't give that to you, uh, something happens, tragedies, you lose loved ones, anything up under the sun that you can think about when the rug is pulled up and from your feet and you land on a solid ground where you didn't even know that ground existed, then it's time to either scrap up and be a force to be reckoned with, or just sit in silence and die in silence. So it's tough, and I understand that it's tough. I had to do it tough. And so it is very scary to a lot of people, especially everything that's going on in the world right now. But when you already know what's coming and you have lived a life where things come and people go suddenly, people go from what we think is before their time, where the world as it is, and we are very fragile as human beings. There is no clock given to anyone, and we have to look at things and grow from things and take things and create things to help the next person to survive another day. So I personally want to put a face on tragedy, a life of tragedy, a life of disappointment and choices that weren't exactly something that could be prevented. It's just who I am as a person and my purpose for being here is to relate and show others that regardless of what happens to you, regardless of what you're going through, there's a different type of life that a lot of us live. And as hard as it is, it can be harder. Try to dig deep in yourself. Try to figure out how you can expand from whatever loss or whatever tragedy or however the world want to respond to what's going on in the universe. Take that and try to draw strength from it. Try to figure out the people that have overcome circumstances that others, they just couldn't. They just didn't have the potential inside of them to strive to figure out how to get through. So there is a light in the tunnel, and the tunnel is dark, but you have to go through the tunnel to get to the light. And I just want to be a voice. I want to be a face to people that don't think that they can overcome the hardest of circumstances. You can, and one day at a time, and trying to figure out for you how to grow from circumstances of the world. So thank you for listening, and I hope this reach individuals that are going through things that we as humans can't really calculate in our heads. But the universe goes around in circles, and there's a reason and a purpose for everything that happens in life. Bye.